my channel and welcome to another episode of My Favorite Things, aka a little bit of everything, August edition. This is a series on my channel where I talk about the best of what I watched or listened in the past month. So I talk about movies, TV shows, YouTubers, anime and music. So the month of August was kinda interesting. I would say that I didn't watch as many of good stuff that I would like to, but what I watched that was good, it was good. So that's what we're going to talk about in here. And as always, we'll start with movies. So the first movie I'm going to be talking about, it's called Don't Breathe. It's from 2016. Don't Breathe tells the story of a group of teenagers that try to break into a blind man's house, thinking they'll get away with the perfect crime. They're wrong. Yeah, this movie was something else. I was not expecting the kind of turn that it does. It's like this. Once you've watched your fair share of thriller movies, you kinda can tell where things are going. I always find myself doing that when I watch these movies because it's kinda predictable. You're still going to enjoy it, but you're also can pinpoint things, and it depends from person to person how that affects your experience. For me, it was still fun. I still find things to enjoy here. The antagonist in this movie, it's just no, I would never like to find myself in that situation, like hell to the freaking no. I love that we have Jane Levi here, she's on Zoe's Extraordinary playlist. And we also have Dylan Minnette, you probably know him from 30 Reasons Why. I know him from Wallows. Overall, I think that this is a fine choice if you like thriller movies. I think that it adds something in this oversaturated genre and you will find yourself having fun. Now, I will not be watching the sequel because they try to redeem a character in the sequel and I'm just like, no, thank you. I'm gonna pass. Okay, next movie I'm going to be talking about, it's The Final Girls. It tells the story of a young woman grieving the loss of her mother, a famous scream queen from the 1980s, that finds herself pulled into the world of her mom's most famous movie. Reunited, the women must fight off the film's maniacal killer. This was in my watch list forever and I finally watched it and I'm just so thrilled that I watched this movie because it was hella fun. This movie just knows how slasher movies work and they just make fun of it. It's the kind of mock movie that you expect everything from. And it also gets emotional. Like, I didn't think that this was going to get emotional at some point. There's a scene that I was like, god damn. After watching that, I just wanted to hug my mom. The slogan that I give to this movie is, being the final girl never felt so fun and emotional. It's really self-aware, it really makes fun of its tropes and it's just a really fun time. It's a movie that I gave it 3.5 stars and I said in my review that I'll probably raise it to 4 stars if I rewatch it because I just had a blast with it. Okay, next movie I'm going to be talking about, it's one that I purely rewatched it because I wanted to feel a sense of my childhood again. And that is James and the Giant Peach. It's from 1996. I'm not sure like if any of you watched this movie. For me, I just know about this movie because it's a part of my childhood. Somehow I remember to this day of this movie, of Giant Peach and everything. It's from the same director as The Nightmare Before Christmas. For those of you who don't know, Tim Burton did not direct The Nightmare Before Christmas. It was Henry Selick, but Tim Burton helped produced. So let me try to tell you the synopsis because this film is a little crazy. It's basically about this boy James who his parents somehow they just die. And like, this is not a spoiler, it's just that it happens like in the 5 minutes of the movie and then he's raised by his 2 main aunts who like make him work every day. And then one day some guy gives him some worms and those worms are magic and of course those worms fall into the ground and then it makes a giant peach. And one day he goes into the giant peach and he sees that those worms somehow also transforms some beings bigger, like a spider, a grasshopper, a centipede, a ladybug. And then he goes on an adventure to New York because he and his parents want to go to New York. I know, it's an insane plot. If you watch this now, you're probably not going to enjoy as I enjoy it as a kid. But like, if you have a childhood memory attached to it, it changes everything. Because then you remember why you like this movie and the memories that you have with this movie. For me, that was it. I didn't even remember that this movie had music in it. Like for me, the most memorable part was the characters, like my favorites being the spider and the grasshopper. The centipede was the scariest thing for me as a kid, like what the hell was that design? It was so scary for me. And there's a scene when he gets stretched that we don't talk about it. If you see it or if you saw it, you know. It just, that scene can be a little uncomfortable. Even now as a young adult, I really enjoyed revisiting a movie from my childhood. It kind of just takes you back to that time when you were a kid and you didn't have to worry about anything, and that it's magical, and James and the Giant Peach is always going to have that meaning for me. If it was part of your childhood, please go rewatch it. It's a lot of fun to remember the things, like this crazy plot. If you didn't watch it, give it a go. Give it a try. Why not? I mean, maybe you will enjoy it, maybe not. I don't know your taste, but maybe, yeah. Okay, I have one honorable mention because this movie was insane and I must put it out there for all of you who might like insane movies. And that is Revenge. A pregnant widow, believing herself to be guided by her unborn child, embarks on a homicidal rampage. I think from the synopsis you can tell how crazy this movie can be. And like, being a woman and watching this, it kind of gives that existential thing of like you being a being that can give birth to someone. One of the things to say is that the main actress, she was actually pregnant at the time when she filmed this. She also directed and wrote it, if I'm not mistaken. I think that she just wrote everything that she was feeling while she was pregnant and like, let's do something fun with it. And she made this movie. All I can say is that pregnancy really seemed like something crazy, scary, and out of this world, even if technically it's what brings us into this world. So take that as you want and decide if you want to watch it or not. Music. About music, there's been too many album releases in August that I wasn't able to keep up. Like, I only listened to an album that was actually released at the end of July, and that's what I'm going to be talking about. But I plan to get around some of the releases from August, and the ones that I enjoyed the most, then I'm going to talk about it here. But for now, let's talk about Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish. I really enjoy this album, I really do, man. Like, she has grown up so much. We see a lot of what she's going through, the pressure being an artist in the public eye that is so freaking well known by everybody. It's harsh, like, and she was in the public eye at a very young age. One of the things that she mentions with Not My Responsibility is how we have opinions on her opinions when we are doing art and we are sharing with the public and with the world. You know that once it's not with you anymore, once you release to people, it can be opinionated in any light, in any way they want to give their opinions in. Even me doing this video, like, I'm giving my opinion on things and then you guys can give your opinions on what I'm thinking, on the things that I talk about. It's like a freaking circle. I think that like she tackles a lot of important things and serious issues in this album. It's really amazing to see how she has grown and how she continues to make such inspiring music. I'm going to talk here about my favorite tracks just a little bit. My two most favorite tracks that like I've been listening on repeat, it's Billy Bossa Nova and Haley's Comet. Those songs represent my taste. I really like this sound, Billy Bossa Nova. In Haley's Comet, like, literally she made a song about falling in love and I was like, yep, this is my jam. It's just so beautiful. I also enjoy I Didn't Change My Number. It really gives me that feel of I'm moving on. Goldwing has been growing on me. When I first heard Goldwing, I was like, cool, oh, this beat, but like, man, this beat. Every time that like we are out of the choir and going into the beat, I'm like, oh my god, Phineas. Lost Cause, I didn't listen as much as the single like when it released, but then with the album it just grew on me. Like, it's a really good song. I hadn't listened Your Power when it was released, so it was a surprise. It's such a strong song. The same thing with Therefore I Am. Didn't listen when the single was released, but I'm here along with the transition from NDA to Therefore I Am. Genius, how Phineas does that. He's so good. The title track of the album, man, like, are you kidding me? Every time it comes, I'm like, I don't talk shit about you. I did enjoy Male Fantasy. I think that she could have closed the album with Happier Than Ever. That there really is a moment that felt like it was closing the album. But then Male Fantasy comes, it's a soothing song for end the album. I think that she wanted to like gives us that really powerful moment and then just makes us slow down a bit because the album is ending. Last but not least, what I'm excited for, I have to say I'm really excited for season 3 of Sex Education. That show is so good, and the ending of season 2, I was so freaking mad. We are waiting for a long time, so I just want to see how the story is going to keep going. If you think about it, it's a show that probably wouldn't be on air. Like years ago, people think that it was too forward or too sexy, but like it's really important to have a show like this to talk about sex education itself and how it affects teens. I'm rewatching at the moment season 1, and I think I'm gonna get around season 2 before season 3 starts, because I just had to like give me a reminder, a catch up of what happened. So we are going to talk more about that probably next month when season 3 will already be out and I'll probably have watched it. Those were my favorite things from August. It was not much, but goddamn, the things that were good, they really stick to me, and that's what this is about, talking about good stuff. That's why I don't mention like the worst of what I watched this month, but like if you wanna know, I do have a letterbox, you can follow me there, and then I'm always logging everything that I watched. You can also see me talking more detailed about the movies that I might talk here, because then there I kind of write a little review and it's like fresh because I just watched it. So if you want, it's in the description, you can go there and check me out. If you watched or listened to any of the things that I talked about in here, please comment down below. I would love to hear your opinions. But that's it for now. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!